Amazing. I'm so excited to be here. It is going to be fun. It is going to be very productive. And don't mind me, I'm very loud like this. I'm a young person. I'm energetic. I love life. And I love it when we're in a space whereby we are actually interacting about issues of young people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening where you are, colleagues. I love the fact that you all joined here. There's a song, Loza. I'm just gonna spend 1 minute of my 10 minutes. There's a song in my country that we usually sing at conferences or wherever we meet, and we always say, condomizer, condomizer. This song simply translates to condomize. Wherever you are as a young person, always have a condom with you. And when we developed this song, we saw it fit because we wanted to talk to young people. And if you want to talk to young people, my people, you need to actually speak their language. You cannot go to young people without speaking their language. It's very important that anything you discuss with them, it's of the language they speak. And that is why even today, when we're discussing ways in which we can strengthen social media, we know that's where we find young people. So we need to stoop to their level. We need to go to the ground. We need to get out of the offices and we need to go and work for young people because they are exactly what we're looking for. I'm just looking for ways in which I can just quickly share my screen. Thank you so much. It is such an honor and a privilege to be granted this opportunity to represent every young person in my country, South Africa. I do not take it for granted, and I believe that it is going to be a fruitful session. Not only fruitful, but it is also going to be productive. I am Nthabiseng Mogashoa, as Loza has said my name and introduced me to the panel. I'm a youth leader in my own capacity. I'm also a radio personality who is engaging with young people daily on radio to actually teach them more, or rather educate them on issues that are happening but they're not well informed about. I am part of the Quasi Youth Network, which is a youth-led organization in South Africa that believes in unifying the voices of young people so that they can actually accelerate all the commitments that have been put forth. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, today we are touching on strengthening social media communication as a plan for youth to respond to COVID-19 through the South-to-South cooperation, focusing on South Africa. And social media is a powerful revolution that has changed our lives all around. It has also changed the way that we socialize, conduct our businesses, also the way in which we engage with our political affairs. Social media has also impacted politics in so many ways. Nowadays, it is where most people get their news, in some cases, this before the houses do. It is a medium that gives the easiest access to political and other news, which I believe it is one platform we need to utilize. These online platforms such as Facebook, such as Instagram, such as TikTok, and etc., these online platforms, they allow young people to air out their political grievances to political leaders. And they also demand for actions to be taken. It is also a medium of mass political rallies, campaigns that are carried out. Many professions and skills have been built and learned through what we call social media. Social media is indeed a tool that is helping us. There is a massive increase in online learning where one can easily learn a skill and build a strong profession around it. The existence of social media has led to an increase in the number of people undertaking distance learning, as well as the academic offerings such as the writing services. I'm explaining the usage of social media for those who do not understand how broad social media is. The definition of social media is so broad and constantly evolving because this term, it generally refers to the internet-based tools that allow individuals and communities to gather and communicate, as well as share information, ideas, and personal messages. So as activists in the field of the SRHR, it is very important that we use this tool to our advantage now, not to tomorrow. We have social media that we can use to advantage, as we have recently developed what we call Doximity. Doximity, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new opposition-only social networking communities that actually offers text and images that are compliant with the health insurance portability. We also have what we call microblogs, which provide the most dynamic and concise form of information via social media. The format allows users to post a large number of brief messages as well as updates to a short period. I'm touching on this because the previous speaker also spoke about how important it is that when we post messages or information on social media, it is very important, it is very crucial that the captions are actually very engaging. Captions are what speak to young people. Pictures are what speak to young people. Authentic messaging is what speaks to young people, because language is one barrier that actually doesn't allow us to penetrate through the field of social media. If we post something of a language that other people cannot understand, a language that's heavy for young people, a language of experts, young people are unable to relate. So today, we need to make sure as young people, as experts, that we further elaborate or rather post eye-catching messages to make sure that young people are able to participate. Online public participation, it cannot be achieved solely through the dissemination of information. It is highly important, ladies and gentlemen, for communicators to understand that social media is a collaborative and participatory by nature. It can empower young people to share their ideas, opinions, and also make sure that whatever that they communicate is able to grow. The COVID-19, ladies and gentlemen, pandemic, it has revealed the omnipresent nature of social media in the communication sphere. Amongst the many lessons learned from the pandemic on our government as South Africa and also on the citizen engagement is that government communicators in all spheres should not use social media as an optional tool to spread messages. A recent case in point is an emergence of social media accounts fueling and also inciting violence that occurred in my very own country in July during the unrest in some parts of South Africa. The social media space, ladies and gentlemen, it's an information vacuum which must not be left unattended. Therefore, it is important that we adopt social media as an opportunity to take the power away from those who provide ambiguous information to the public. The lack of comprehensive social media strategy to guide the implementation as well as the use of various platforms is a challenge. Without a strategy in place, social media can be used sporadically, and it will be impossible to foster effective citizen engagement. I'm one person who always says, if we have challenges on the table, what do we do? What now? What are the solutions? Where to from now? In terms of capacity to deliver on social media strategy, every government department should have a dedicated, age-appropriate, and skillful person to manage all social media accounts. I would like to repeat that, to say, in order for us to deliver on the social media strategy, we need to have departments that have a dedicated, age-appropriate, and skillful people to manage all social media accounts. But not only that, they also need to share public information. They need to monitor interactions, and they need to instantly respond to queries or any misleading comment, as well as inaccurate information. We all know how misleading information on social media can spread like fire. Hence, we need to put necessary measures in making sure that social media works to advantage. The time has come for the government communicators to embrace the power of social media as a two-way communication tool to enhance the public engagement, but also to make sure that we build trust and confidence in our society. The regulation of social media in countries like South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, it takes into consideration that there must be provision for protection of human rights and also what we call freedom of speech. However, there should be a full understanding that citizens can use social media to pursue negative agenda and also spread misleading information, which could ultimately mislead the public and affect the image of the government. As a young activist myself, my relatives who are based in the rural areas of some part in South Africa are not on any social media, since they were calling me several times to verify anything relating to the COVID-19. And sometimes when I checked the source, it was social media. So this means that we need to tap into that field and make it accessible as well as convenient for every person to use. This means that anyone who uses social media can post information that could go viral. Now I want to share a short story with you about how I started in the field. I'm a young person who's very vocal, a young person who believes that she's a voice to the voiceless. And when I was given the opportunity to attend the ICPD 25 in Kenya, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. But my most important agenda, or rather my most first important reason to go in there, it's because I wanted to hold our government leaders accountable. I wanted to be there when leaders are making commitments upon their countries. And some of the commitments that were actually made by the leaders, of my country were that they need to achieve universal access to sexual and reproductive health as part of the universal health coverage. Another commitment that was made by South African leaders was that they need to address gender-based violence and the harmful practices of child and early forced marriages, as well as draw on a demographic diversity to drive economic growth and achieve sustainable development. And now the question is, with the circumstances of the pandemic, is that still possible? I'm one person who believes that as young people meet and young people join forces, it is possible to achieve anything that has been written down in black and white. I think it's important to point out that health information is actually what we call a human right, ladies and gentlemen. Even though we have censorship that denies people's rights. What is this censorship I'm speaking of? The censorship of certain social media content is proving to be a challenge across the globe for some NGOs. Millions of people in undeserved countries and remote regions of the world have depended on social media for information and education about access to products and services that can actually save their lives, as well as served as a lifeline during the pandemic. So that is why it's important not to have certain message censored on social media so that accurate information can be shared with young people, and young people can understand how important it is to actually utilize on social media. During the global health emergencies, such as COVID-19, there is a total reversal of priorities. And as a result, the availability, the accessibility, the affordability of SRH services may become challenging, especially in what we call resource poor settings. So this is why it is highly important as young people who have the capacity to change the narrative, to make sure that we include young people in everything we do. A message Siakwazi always tells people is that you cannot do anything for young people without them. Anything for young people has to include young people. And we understand very well, according to the statistics that have been said, to say young people less than the age of 30 are the ones dominating social media. We can use various ways in which we can interact with young people, making sure that the information they have is very much accurate. That is all I have to share for now, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we can be a unified voice from all across the world. Join hands as young people, be unified, and make sure we serve the young people with exactly what they need. Why? Because the power is in our hands. And without us sharing this information on social media and making it fun by using hashtags as well and using captivating captions as well, it is not possible for us to move along. With that being said, Lola, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to more speakers and also engaging and making sure that we are able to come out with a productive session. From myself, Nthabi, the MC in South Africa, always make sure you condomize.